So I thought we'd do something a bit different today. We'd do a live video of an unboxing of an FT736R, which a good mate of mine, Steve Prime, VK5 Sugar Papa, actually helped me to get freighted over. He actually sent it over in a much bigger box so we could keep the original box in such good condition. But this is what's turned up. Now, auction buying is not for everybody. You have to be a little bit of a risk-natured type of person. That's because you often know very, very little about them, in the early parts. But let's just show you. It's obviously come in the original box, which is nice. Let's just have a look at the radio. Pull some of this off here. But this is exactly how I've got it. And we're going to go through the process of what I do when I do these crazy things. And does it go up in smoke when you plug it in? You're going to see live exactly what happens next. Okay, so I've just basically just given it a quick rub over, and it's extremely clean. FT736R. Even comes with the YM46A DTMF mic, which that has become a very difficult mic to get these days, and it came with a spare 8-pin plug, mic bracket, and manual, etc. So yeah, now with auction buying, you're always taking a risk. This one had some big positives to it once we got it, but we didn't know this prior to buying it. It was just when Steve sent me a photo of the back of the radio. So let's show you that. Now, had they shown a shot of the back of the radio for all to see, or had someone pop down and inspected the unit at auction, one of the clearest things they would have picked up on is that all the 4 slots are filled. So meaning that 6 meters, 2 meters, 70 centimeters, and of course the really hard to get 1.2 gig on the Yaesus, they're just unobtainium these days, was actually on board. That module alone, I've seen them go for $600 just for that module. One module, as long as it works, that's the sort of money they've been selling for. There are people out there own FT736s that they have obviously a spot, sorry, wrong side, the 1.2 here. They have a spot here that is completely empty, and they want to put the 1.2 gig. Oh yeah, it's even got there, yeah, there you go. But the N-type plug is the dead giveaway, and the fact that it's one of the removable areas. The top section, the 2 and the 70, they were always standard, and generally Dick Smith sold these with 6, 2 and 70 standard, and then you added the 1.2 back in the day. So that's, that was the chance. This is sometimes when you hit bid on something, you don't know. So you've got to pay a price, and this is just my guide to auction buying. You've got to pay a price that says that it hasn't got it. You've just got to really assume. You can't be an optimist, because 9 times out of 10 these things will be ratted, they'll be empty, they'll be faulty, there'll be lots of things. So this video is not so much about a 736R, but the strategy of buying from auction. Obviously, if you can get to an auction and check the thing a few days before, especially if you can plug it in, you can learn so much. Now, most of that doesn't happen for a lot of us, because it's generally interstate and not so simple to do that. So so sometimes you've just got to roll the dice and see how you go. Now, full disclosure, I've actually quickly pulled the covers on this. A bit of a habit with 240 volt equipment. I'd like to get in, have a look at the power supply, just quickly see that we've got no issues there, no over voltages, blah blah blah, and nothing that can sort of hurt us. You won't find there's too many issues with isolated supplies. This uses a little switch mode in there that actually, the second reason I wanted to have a quick look just at the condition of the caps in there, and they look pretty good, but we're going to replace a couple anyway. So the screws are back in it, and we can now power it up because we've had a bit of a look. So let's have a look. And there we go. So the fact that it lights up and we get audio, good, very good sign. Okay, so let's just run it through its bands. So we ideally should get 4 bands here. There's the 1296 band, 50 meg, 144 megs, back to 430 megs. So 70 sems, 1.2 gig, 6 meters and 2 meters, all operational. Well, I shouldn't say that, should I? Are they operational? To do that, let's go put it into an analyzer and see, whether it actually does what we think it's going to do. If you said to me, will it do everything it's meant to do, with everything I'm seeing so far, and I haven't put into a monitor yet, haven't transmitted, haven't done anything, haven't fed a signal in, I'm going to say yes. Now you're going to find out on this whether I'm completely right or completely wrong, and don't mind the display, it's the video just not capturing it correctly. Let's pop it in the workshop very quickly and have a look, hey? Okay, so let's try 2 meters first. Each time we do a band change, because these have separate antenna outputs, unless I'm using some sort of duplexer or triplexer, we've needed to obviously change our analyzer lead onto the correct antenna port. Okay, so let's turn the volume up. That's 0.5 a microvolt there. Super good signal on that. That's for 0.5, that is so good. Let's just have a look. Take that right down. That's 0.2 and I'm still hearing it. These things did have an incredible VHF stage. All right, let's have a look and squelch that for a minute. Excuse me. And let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 20 watts coming out of that. So we are cooking with gas. I suppose we should just check sideband just for the heck of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Yep. Oh, that's looking. Okay, so we've got a win in the fact that sideband, gee, that compressor on there, they have a processor down here. That processor works extremely well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're running full mic gain there too, but yeah, that's terrific. All right, so band number 1 under control. Now, to do the rest of the bands, I'm going to need to use a little adapter because I'm using a PL259, so from N-type over. Actually, not necessarily. Let's go down in bands. Let's do 6 meters next because that'll be a PL259. We'll get to the N-type adapter ones in a second. All right, we're starting right down at 0.2 of a microvolt here. That's minus 120 dBm. I thought I'll make it work hard. Let's take that up to right at 0.5. We should find 0.5 is noise free. 0.5 is beautiful and noise free. My goodness. All right, power output. Let's see what we got. Scorch that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. 1, 2. Let's have a look. It's about 10 watts on carrier. I'm up there just checking my levels here. And on sideband, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. 1, 2. About 10 watts there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. So that might need a little bit of a tune. I think from memory these were 20 watts sideband. So, there's little things there that I might just have a little play and zap up. Excuse me. But functionality-wise, no, she's doing well. Something I can't remember. It was bothering me before. With the... hang on. FM. Was the preamp internal, or was this... I reckon it was one of the ones where you had it fed voltage up the line to a masthead preamp. Let's find out. Yep, it is. So basically that button there puts voltage on the line that if you had a masthead preamp, you could power it up from there. It's all right. Been a while since I've had a 736. All right, on to 70 centimeters. Okay, my apologies. I had an interruption and I can't remember where we got to, but I'm guessing it was to 1.2 gigs that we were going to do a quick test on. My apologies if I'm doubling up in this video. I'm not going to edit the video. Just put up with me. Yeah, sorry. This is a little bit of a mistake. It does happen, and I hate editing videos because I haven't got the time. But summary of what happens here. 1296, we can only do so much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. We know 1296 is working. We've got to hook it up to a 9700 or something, you know, like if I put a 9700 in the room, put on 1.2 gigs, I'm certainly going to hear myself going, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. And I'm certainly going to do the opposite. But what I'd need to do is turn the 9700 down to its least amount of power, put it on a dummy load, put it in another room, you know, and see, hey, can this radio still hear it? Because it's not a really accurate test. The monitor goes up to 1 gig and not to 1.3. So that's my issue at this desk right here. I have got other test equipment that'll generate at 1.3. So look, we can and will test that. But for the sake of today's experiment, of just sort of showing you, this is more about the concept of auction buying and what to be careful of and what to try and pick up, you know, signs of. Which brings me to my next point. And I debated whether to show people this because this can bite you on the backside, but let me just preface it with this. When I have done auction buys, I've had some good ones. And let me just say up front, this was a good one. And I really thank Steve, VK5SP, for this one I've been after for a while. Some people would question with my health at the moment, why are you chasing radios? Well, I've got an answer for that. Certain things in life, no matter how bleak things look, and you know, I've got some stuff coming up that, you know, I'm just going to be seriously honest with you. I don't know whether I'll make it or not. I don't. Look, things are not good. But don't stop thinking they might be. Take control. Good friend of mine, Don, VK3HDX, said to me, take control. No matter what it is, take control. You know, it's that simple. Take control. I was in a pretty dark place, and Don said to me, take control. And so, yeah, live or die. FT736R. It'll still get sold one day to somebody. But yeah, it was one that I wanted for my personal collection. Steve helped me out to do that. I really appreciate that, Steve. Steve, I'll have a bit of a conversation with you. You don't know some of the details of what I'm saying on here right now, and I've wanted to talk to you about it for a while, so I suppose this video will prompt that. There's no illusions. We just have got a battle on our hands. But back to auction buying. Why do we do it? Well, they're generally something that we can't get easily elsewhere. They're just not coming up. With this, you're forced to take a risk. You have to. I mean, if you want the radio, you've got to, you know, live by the sword and die by the sword. Probably bad timing to say that, but the truth is that what you see is what you will get, and you can only do the best discovery you can. Obviously, if you're in the hometown of the auction, you can do a lot more. So let's have a look. Evans and Clark. I'm going to be really upfront here. Evans and Clark. We bought a Yaesu FT736 all mode all mode with the mic and book and the box and everything else. Is really good, actually. So the drum roll, please. Okay, so we bought it for $310. Now get used to these buying buyer's premium. I'm going well today. So basically, they charge a percentage of the price. You'll find most places are between 8 and 12%. With car auctions, it's down around about 7.5%. Be careful with car auctions. Memorabilia can be as high as 16.5%, I've seen. So, you know, with when you're buying your Holden sign, just remember, if you're paying $900 for your Holden sign, add 16.5%, and you've just paid over $1,000 for something, because, you know, and then obviously delivery. So total upfront cost, I don't mind telling you, about $100 to get it over by courier. Steve put it in a much bigger box so we could save the original box, which was great. So let's call the entire cost about $460 odd. Now, this has been a good one. You know, and I'm not going to sugarcoat this. You are going to buy clunkers, and if you do that, I would suggest you be someone with some technical background that can actually, you know, pull the covers, look at it, and make sure that you know what you're buying is fixable by you. You know, often auction buys won't be economical. If you buy it, then have to send it to somebody who's going to charge, you know, minimum $95 an hour these days. That's someone being nice to you, actually. And to be fair to half the electronic engineers out there and people that are fixing radios, I can't get someone to put a bloody roofing section up for under $600 a day right now. So, sort of, I think sometimes the fact that us radio guys can do something in an hour or two and can only charge, say, 95 or $180, something like that, maybe $190 for it. We need to get into the roofing trade or something, or become a plumber, or bloody hell. My plumber charged me the other day, little toilet issue, $370 or something. And don't get me wrong, he's a great guy, and he's not charging off the planet prices. It's just what things are. Okay, so my advice with auction buying: be a little careful if you're not technical. If you're not technical, try and get someone down to check it. Try and get someone to have a look at it. I didn't want to send Steve down to do that. I'm technical. I know that I'll sort whatever issues are in there, and I would never want to make him feel responsible for that either. So when excuse me, when Steve goes down to pick something up for me, he's generally sent the link. But I treat him as the transport driver, not the guy that said, buy this radio. I'm the guy, and you must adopt the responsibility. When people send you a link and say, hey, this might be for you, just remember, they didn't tell you the radio was perfect. They just said, you might be interested in this. Make an informed decision. So, yeah, anyway. But this is really good. This has been a great buy for something, for something that I'm just going to be straight with you. I could pull the 1.2 module out of this and get $500 tomorrow. I know the buyer. I'm not sure how long I'll be left around for, but trust me, I'll leave a list for Sam. But you know what? That same buyer will buy the whole radio and the whole lot. He's just, I know who he is, and he wouldn't be able to resist a radio that looks so brilliantly represented as this one with box and books and everything. He'd sell his. I know what he'd do. Anyway. So, just a very short summary. This is a great example of where you can do well on an auction buy. What is this radio really worth? And let's have a look at that. I think it's minimum $1,000. So, this radio makes up for some of the awful buys that I've done, and that's great. I think people would be very interested to buy it at around $1,000 with everything in it. I actually think that may be too cheap, but I'm just giving you a bit of an idea of just where your auction buys can advantage you, and you can certainly you could be buying radios and reselling them, and I've done it for years. Obviously, I'm coming to an end in what I was doing. I've enjoyed it. Anyone who says to me, oh, that seemed like a lot of work, and hey, I enjoyed it. I'm not going to get into all the details, but I can tell you now, you people and radio and everybody that's been involved, I've made some of the best friends and some of the people that are really close to me that I never would have met if it wasn't for radio. So just remember, when you're out there, it's more than just the radios, it's the people that you're dealing with, and just remember to keep in touch with all of them. All of them are going through different things that you don't know about, things you might be able to help them with. I've found the amateur radio fraternity is a fantastic group of people who just, if they know they can help you, they will. There's no question. There's some really brilliant amateurs out there. So, but yeah, certainly, over the years, I've had a lot of fun in buying and selling, and finding my own little pieces I want to commit to for myself, etc. You can do that too, and this is just one method of obviously finding things that is available. And we're seeing more come up through auctions, to be honest. Generally, their deceased estates, etc. And excuse me, wives are using auctions at times. And I would always suggest that's not your best way. Your local amateur radio club will have better sourcing. There will always be somebody that will come along and say, "Hey, we'll buy it all for $500." That's my greatest fear for Sam. We have plenty of good people like Don and a number of others that will direct Sam if worst comes to worst. And as you are seeing on the various for sale sites right now, I'm doing my best to try and get a few up each day too, just to try and we've got about 2,000 radios, and hey, if I live forever, I probably don't need as many as I've got lying around. So anyway, so hopefully you too can get some sort of bargain or something that's well priced out of what we'll be selling off. All right, enough rambling on. We're heading towards 20 minutes. 73 to it all. Thank you very much. Appreciate all your support over the years, and we'll keep fighting on and just have a look at the auctions, guys. You never know. Might be something like an FT736R that comes up that might be on your agenda of things that you were hoping a barn find might come along one day. Well, this just proves they do. 73 is all. Cheers from Brenton, VK3 Charlie Mike in Tangambalanga, Northeast Victoria.